I'm Brad Mullen with UnwiredView.com. Today I'm going to be giving you a review of the Nexus S, which is a result of a partnership between Google and Samsung. So you could essentially call this the love child, this little guy right here, of Samsung and Google working together. So take the little teamwork, guys, and this is the result. So what's so special about the Nexus S? Why did Google get involved with it? Well, it is the very first one that offers Gingerbread. And as a result, Google wanted this one to be the phone that all the developers started using. This way it's kind of like a real-life emulator of sorts, where before this huge onslaught of Gingerbread phones gets out on the market, they want the developers to be able to take the tools that have been given to them and exercise it on this guy. So that way, when all the new phones come out with Gingerbread, they're all good to go, and the apps will work like a charm. So with the Nexus S, what we're going to talk about today is a little bit about what improvements were made with Gingerbread, what kind of features were added in there, and that cool little thing that happened too. Have you ever seen a phone do that? Nah, I didn't think so. So the Nexus S review, let's get to it. The Nexus S is designed in a rather unique way. Overall, it's not too different. It's just like any other Galaxy S phone that you have seen in the past. In fact, it looks very, very much like the Samsung Fascinate, where you have the rounded corners on it, and then also the back in and of itself has got that glossy plastic feel and look, which definitely attracts fingerprints, as you can tell. Very, very smudgy. So, but the one thing that makes this unique over any other phone in existence is that flexible display. It's kind of hard to see in this angle, but it is a concave display. It's called the contour display, technically. So you're taking the same 4-inch Super AMOLED screen and just flexing it up a little bit, bending it a little, so that way it's supposed to help with the one-handed nature. So instead of you having to worry about, we got to do 2 fingers, 2 hands, whatever, with this one it just feels a lot more natural and comfortable to just use one hand and do all sorts of typing and stuff. To me, I haven't seen a huge difference between this and the standard, well, any standard phone for that matter. So for me, it's not a huge difference. Not the biggest improvement, but it certainly didn't make it any worse, so there you got that going for you. Really, the point to me of having this concave contour display is just the fact that it is flexible. So it's Samsung showing off that, hey, they have the technology and the power to do this kind of flexible display, and they're bringing it out to market. If that's the case, then chances are we're going to start seeing a lot more of these kind of flexible displays in the very near future. I would say probably sometime this year we're going to start seeing a few more Samsung phones with that flexible display. With this phone being called the Nexus S, certainly it's going to draw a lot of comparisons to the Galaxy S, which is not coincidental considering Samsung used the same exact branding logo on the Nexus S as they did the Galaxy S. The S looks identical, so you know there's supposed to be some sort of connection to it. Now, one huge difference, though, that you see is you've got the frontward-facing camera, and that curved display is an obvious difference as well. Beyond that, you still have the same 4-inch Super AMOLED screen. You also have the same gigahertz Hummingbird processor and 512 megabytes of RAM. Also similar is the 5-megapixel camera, and the thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me is that the video capturing on this one, on the Nexus S specifically, is not even HD capable when you compare it to the Galaxy S phones that do have the 720p HD video capturing capability. Why they did it this way, I have no idea, and that's okay. More power to them, right? But I just have a hard time wanting to use this as my normal phone if it doesn't have the HD video capturing. Call me nitpicky, but me being a nitpicky guy, I don't understand why it was left out. One of the novelties of the Nexus S is that it was the very first one to come out with Gingerbread. Gingerbread, of course, being the Android 2.3 operating system. It's the newest firmware update that's available, but it's not available on every single phone. In fact, this one, as of this moment, is the only one that has it. With CES, there were a few different handsets that were announced that have the Gingerbread available for it, but they're not out yet. So we're still waiting on that. In the meantime, if you're a developer and you want to be able to use a phone that has the Gingerbread to fine-tune your apps, well, the Nexus S is basically the #1 choice. It's the only choice. So that's kind of the reason why the Nexus S is any sort of a deal at all, frankly. Now, taking a look at some of the different features that are available on Gingerbread, how exactly has it improved over Froyo? Well, show you a few different things. NFC is the biggest one, near field communications. Right now, the only thing that you can use it for is if there's a restaurant or a retail store, they have these different tags that allow the transfer of information back and forth. You can certainly store the tags in here, and you can swipe and touch those tags with your phone, and that will transfer the information in. But the goal of near-field communication is for things like using your phone as a wallet, where you're going to be able to pay for things just by swiping your, like that hand right there, woo, just by swiping your phone over these tags. So be on the lookout for those kind of things coming out in the very near future. Certainly now that a lot of phones are going to start getting Gingerbread, this is going to be an important thing. Right now, not as much support, but just wait. I am sure by the end of the year we're going to start seeing a lot more support for this kind of activity. We also see a portable hotspot. So this is not unlike the mobile hotspot you're going to find on Sprint, T-Mobile, or Verizon Android phones. But the reason why this is a big deal on Gingerbread is that it's actually built into the phone itself. So this isn't Verizon or Sprint or anybody throwing on a mobile hotspot. It's already in there. I don't have to worry about throwing in extra bloatware in this case. Now, a few other things is that it includes a lot more improvements for developing games. It has gyroscope support, it has barometer support, it has more three-dimensional vector support, which really sounds all techy, but basically there's just a whole bunch of extra things that you'll be able to do with your phone with the support in there. That's going to make the games even more fun. So that's that in a nutshell. It also has more battery improvements, which, let's face it, with an Android, it's essential. We need to have some sort of better battery life in any sort of fashion. And so we have things like, let's go back out of there. So like easy access to the application management system, where I can go pick out one of these and have a force stop, so I can just go in and stop that from using up any of my CPU power, and in turn that will save battery life. So that's one thing. There's also the inclusion of a few extra apps in there. For example, you've got downloads, and then tags is the other one. That's associated with the NFC, of course. So those are just a few things. I've thrown in a few things of my own since I started using the phone, of course. Now, another thing that's actually rather interesting, it's very subtle, but I like it. So you'll see, it's hard to see very well, but when you move up or down, when you get to the bottom or the top of the menu, you see how you have that orange lighting up? That's just basically a little subtle indicator to let you know that you're actually at the very bottom of the menu, instead of you thinking, oh, I need to keep scrolling and what's going on? Is it frozen? No, it's not. So you just have that little orange glow. Kind of nice. So those are a few of the improvements with Gingerbread. Time to weigh out the pros and the cons of the Nexus S. And is this a phone that I would personally buy? It's a big question, because as a phone, as an Android phone even, it's a great device. I had no problems with it. The processor works really nice, and frankly it's the same exact processor as the Galaxy S. The difference is that it does not have the TouchWiz bogging it down. So I actually found it to be faster in terms of overall speeds on the phone than that of the Galaxy S. So that's a huge difference right there. Now, as far as my rant about the Nexus S, it may seem like a bit of a trivial thing, but this is one thing that just I have a hard time getting over. The Nexus S came out, it was supposed to be the next generation of phones, the newest technology. Hey, look at what this Gingerbread phone can do. It can do the NFC. Big whoop-de-doo. It doesn't have an HD video camcorder on it. That blows my mind. It has the same 5 megapixel camera as the Galaxy S, even throws in the LED flash, which is cool. And heck, it's got the frontward-facing camera, which the Galaxy S doesn't have. But why, oh why, did the 720p video capturing not get included on this? It just, it does not make any sense to me. And like I said, it may seem like a trivial thing, but if they're trying to show this off as like the next best thing, and look how awesome this phone is, that's just one of those simple little pieces of componentry. Frankly, it's probably even a software fix that you can just throw in that was just left out for some random reason. I don't understand that. So beyond that though, the battery life actually runs faster, I'm sorry, the battery life actually goes longer, is what I meant to say, than the Galaxy S, and pretty much any other Android phone for that matter. But in terms of would I buy this phone, well, yeah, it's a nice phone, but it doesn't bedazzle me. It doesn't do anything like really unique that I think, man, this phone can do that and no other phone can. Well, there's plenty of other phones that can do all the same stuff that this one can. Plus, with new Androids coming out very soon that will have the Gingerbread capability, there's really nothing that causes me to want to get this. But again, like I said, it's a great phone. It's just not spectacular. It's not what they had been trying to market it as hey, look at this awesome phone. So in a nutshell, that's a little bit about the Samsung Nexus S. Feel free, and I would definitely encourage you to go check out my full review at unwiredview.com. My name is Brad Mullen. I would love to see you there. If you agree or disagree, it doesn't really matter. Certainly leave a comment.